you want sugar?
No, thanks, no.
Just milk and water, like it?
No, thank you.
Would you like a drink, Peter? Would you like a biscuit?
Yes, please. Oh, I'll come get them a drink.
Oh, wait.
No, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my weird things. I can't stand chocolate or biscuits.
What? Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, haven't had either of them
He
since
doesn't quite have to
2001.
bring out my belly.
That was a New Year's Eve party. My mum's friend kept trying to stuff me with them. I was about 15 and I was like, I'm going to be sick, stop doing that. And she kept trying to force me to on them, and I was like, no, stop it. And I've never had any since.
Yeah, and the old area cold to shore headache.
Yeah. Gone off again.
I agree.
Doing that. Well,
I'll change the power.
Oh, no, come back.
Yeah. I'll just make sure
if
the
it
power
goes off,
stays
we'll
all
just
right.
disconnect and start again. I think once we get going, it won't. It's just because it's gone to sleep, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Okay, so I've had some leaflets around. If you want to take one, you got one? Okay. Yeah. I had these printed last week at a really great expense. And again, they were about £65, I think, for 2,500 of them. And yeah. No.
It's clever though, when you can scan it,
Yeah.
or take the cubes in.
Exactly, if you scan them on your phone, it'll take you to the books on Amazon straight away, and take you to my website. But yeah, if you know how to do that. So, okay. So, are there people watching? Okay, you're still waiting for some more, okay, no worries.
We'll wait
Yeah.
at least 7:30.
Yeah, that's all right. I was just checking if there was people watching on TikTok, and there's no one there at the moment. But yeah, I told them I'd be on at a certain time. They might appear later.
Yeah.
Not sitting here anyway,
No.
banked it or something.
Yeah.
All we've got is cash and the money or nothing.
Well, should we talk?
Yeah, after.
Like on Monday. Or after today. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yes. I'm going to.
I'll get this stuff off here so that it's not. You can see quite so people can see as well. I want to check that the sound's working as well, because there is a bit with some sound on it at the beginning. So there's no sound. So I don't know whether the volume's down. No, that's not the volume, is it? Pushing the wrong button. Not the volume. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's not the volume. So is the volume on the back, or is there? That does have a speaker, doesn't it?
Oh, that's a shame. Was it more, was it three? Or some other? Yeah. It's all covered. On 500.
Yeah.
Did it happen fairly late? Oh, I saw that. Oh, okay, yeah, thanks for that.
I don't have, didn't bring sound.
I looked it up.
Okay, it doesn't do sound, okay.
But I didn't know that you wanted sound.
Okay, so it doesn't know whether it did sound or not.
Oh,
Okay.
Because,
I do have a sound thing, but I didn't
Okay.
bring it.
Okay.
Is that really bad?
I can do it with that, I can
You
probably,
can unplug the, from the projector and just go off the.
yeah, but,
Yeah.
Somebody else can
I know you want the graphic.
what I'm gonna do is, no, what we do is we change the speakers. So,
So you can do it from your computer.
Oh, yeah. Then turn that
yeah,
up.
just turn it up as much as it will go. It won't go very loud, unfortunately.
Do you want that sort of?
Biggest it, the loudest it can go.
Or is it?
If I do it like that speed, you can hear it. So I'm trying to point the speakers that way, which can have to be really, really quiet when this bit's on. Because it's not very loud, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you very much.
Similar to the sign.
Well, all is right up, yeah.
Thing on the back wall, so.
Volume's up 100%.
Will you? Bring it up?
Yeah. Yeah, can you guys see that enough? Or is it?
Yeah.
Do you want it to be bigger? Because of these guys are saying like it needs a bit bigger, don't they?
No, but they do that, buying a screen for.
Buying a screen for the back wall, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I totally understand. Because what TV like that at home is we've got a projector which is projected onto the wall and does 3D and stuff like that. Yeah.
Straight into the wall.
Yeah. Just
You've got one of these.
Well, I've got a reflective screen on it as well, but it can project straight onto the wall.
Kind of a bare wall.
Yeah. It's always a white wall, but yeah. Hi there. Yeah, we're not started yet. Anyway, so yeah, unfortunately we can't get any sound out of the projector, so it's gonna have to be quite. I'm gonna have to be really, really quiet when I do this first bit. So yeah. So this is kind of I kind of messed this about, so I had to I lost a lot of the stuff that I've done, so I had to kind of put it together this afternoon. So yeah, and I've got to stupid bit which is basically someone driving down the April Street. it'll all be explained. So,
Do you want sugar and milk or just milk?
I've absolutely never done this before in my life. So yeah, yeah. I was surprised anyone turned up. I've had a few people on Facebook who said they were going to come, and then I've not heard anything from them since. So, but then they've got their own sort of problems going on, so I kind of understand. And I've got a few people who wanted me to do a recording first, so I've got someone else that wanted a recording done. So some of them are even just mentioned briefly in the video. So yeah. So we've got 2 people watching on TikTok. I'm pointing it that way because I'm not allowed to point it at the audience because yeah, picture rights and stuff like that. We have to have a consent form for everyone. So but a whole load of people who couldn't make it tonight wanted a recording. So, yeah. Okay, so we've already gone over 7:30, so I think we're hopefully going to start soon. There's only more coming.
I think Janet is just. These ones.
Yeah.
Just not all of them.
If I speak too much, my throat will start cracking.
Did you want some water?
Oh no, I've got a drink here. I was at an event the other night, talking for literally 3 hours straight, and then the next day I tried to do another event, and I was like, oh my god. So
Right, so past 7:30 now. We've got all that we were expecting.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
shall we get started?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say a couple of quick housekeeping things, which I always have to do. We're not having any fire alarms, so if the fire alarm, well, we're not doing fire drills. So if the fire alarm goes off, it's for real, and we need to leave the building as quickly as possible. So you can either go out the front door that you came in, or you can go out the side door, and we'll just sort of like meet up in the car park opposite the library. But touch wood, it's not going to happen. If you want the toilet through that door, just behind the staff counter, so it's immediately on your right, so feel free to use the facilities. And
Okay.
first and foremost, welcome to Samuel J. White.
Samuel J. White.
Samuel J.
No one
White.
knows me as that.
And,
I was just trying to make it sound professional, but it's not.
yeah. So
I'm not
welcome to
professional.
Swaffham Library.
Alright, thank you.
And I'll hand over to you. And we'll
Okay, yeah.
hearing all about
Okay, do you want to put the lights down slightly for the first bit? So, hi, thank you for having me here. Obviously, you've just been introduced to me. I'm Samuel J. White, I'm known as that, but I'm a lot of other things as well. So I basically wrote some books, and I go around to events and stuff like that and sell them. And I'm self-published. I decided I didn't want to go through a publisher. I didn't want to go through all of the whole thing of applying to them and getting rejected and all sorts of things. I could just get my work out there as it was. So, I am going to start off with reading the first chapter of my first book. Well, it's not my first book, but it's my best-selling book. Just wanted something to sort of get a taste of what it's about, but yeah, so...
Are you happy if we interrupt you with questions?
Yeah. I'm just going to... never done this before in my life, so if it's going to be a bit quiet, possibly this one goes on for about 3 minutes, so it'll come on once this kind of background bit's kind of gone off, so this might be on for a few seconds and then it should.
The eyes that looked back at me from the mirror were not my own. I shrieked and shook in surprise as they seemed to pierce my mind.
And that is the first chapter of this book here.
Seemed to speak to me telepathically. She said only one simple phrase, but it stuck in my head like glue. Mary has found her blade. I opened my eyes
This is
in
me
the
doing
darkness.
TikTok videos.
Sweat dripping down my face, heart pumping in my chest. Where was I? Unable to see, I felt and searched the bed for my husband. But there was no sign of him. Feeling my way along the wall, I found the light switch on. The flame crackled into life and I found myself in a small dark room with nothing but a bed, wardrobe and dressing table. I took a moment to engage my brain. It was a new start, a new job, a new place, and a new way of life. A new way of life without my husband. Then again, I never had much of a life with him when he was there. Something in the corner was making a noise. Slow, haunting tune. Very sweet.
Try not to laugh.
It came from a small music box on the dressing table. I wept and I wound it up to try to help myself drift off to sleep. It had now run down and was causing the tune to be slow and eerie. It made my skin quiver. My only company that night came in the form of 2 photographs. One of them was my husband, the other was the faded photograph of the strange, nameless child. It was the name of the child that had just visited me in my sleep. Her eyes stared at the camera. It was like she had some sort of illness, but without knowing her history, I could not make a valid guess at what it was. It was the sight of her face in the mirror that had awoken me from my dream. I'd been on a farm by a lake. I had the music box. Slowly hearing the tune I'd awakened to. It was my favourite tune because I could relate to Maria and her lack of a playmate. I was not allowed to play with the other children because I was doing differently saw when I investigated the mirror of the music box. It was not my face, it was her dream. It was no wonder that I dreamed like her with her photograph by my bed. And like her, I was afraid of her. As my eyes adjusted to the light, hers in the photograph met with mine in the world of the living. As though she was trying to tell me something. I saw a box of matches under her frame. The matches had fallen in such a way that they spelled out one single four-letter word. Hell. And my candle's quite yeah. Try and get of it. Go to my website and get Maria's photograph, or go to Amazon and get Maria's photograph.
So this is a TikTok video I did to try and promote it to people, but I thought, yeah. So what we're going to do, stop it there. So yeah, so that was a bit of a weird video that I did, obviously. This was trying to get people involved for Halloween and stuff like that. And as you can see, the camera fell down, and I was trying to put it back up, and it was just all over the place. But I thought I'd just add that bit in the front, because that's like the opening chapter of the book. Hevingham. I start with Hevingham because that's where I grew up, and that's where I got my inspiration from, and that's where this book is set. Does anyone know Hevingham?
You know it from the map.
You know it from the map.
I've been for a walk down there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I grew up and where a lot of my inspirations come from. I will move on to, should do a few things. Here's me when I was little. We don't need to really see any of this stuff. And this is me again there. But kind of, yeah, so this guy, this was where I was first, my first inspiration, because he's an author, you probably never have heard of him. I can tell you, you've never heard of him, but the reason I say him as an inspiration is because he came from Hevingham, where I grew up, and he was he wrote about just everyday life and stuff that was there, and sort of collected pictures from the past and stuff like that. And I thought, if he can make a self-published book, then why can't I? So yeah, that was part of my inspiration behind it. And yeah, and a lot of the pictures I looked at while researching this book were in his book. So yeah, so I don't know. And we'll move on. So this was Mrs. Hayward. She was my school teacher, and I'll talk about why she was an inspiration as well. So this is we're going to stop the story time. Partly how I got into writing is, you know how we all used to have stories at school, and I enjoyed doing it, but didn't think I was any good at it, and you know, never thought I could aspire to do anything like this. And then I got into trouble quite a lot with her, because my mum worked at the school, so she was quite hard on me over things and stuff like that as well. So and then one morning, when everyone getting their exercise books back, mine didn't get brought back. She didn't give it back, and we'd done this story about, it started off with people being chased by a dragon, and you had to finish it, basically. And I'd written this story about being in a hot air balloon, being chased by the dragon over the village, and all what goes on about when you're being chased by a dragon. And the dragon set fire to the heath around the school, and you know, and it ended with calling emergency services and stuff like that. And I thought, oh dear, I'm in trouble. She's going to call me back afterwards and say, you told me what a load of rubbish my story was. And I'm looking around, and she said, can everyone come and sit down on the carpet? And I was like, uh-oh. And she's got my exercise book, and she's reading it out to the whole class. And yeah, so that's when I kind of decided at some point I was going to write stories, but it didn't happen for a long time after that, unfortunately.
So what did you work at before you?
I'm going to come on to that. So there's I will show you some pictures of some of the things I did do. Went to Aylsham High School. Nothing happened at Aylsham High School. I kind of tried to keep out of trouble and stuff like that. And then City College was where I learned to become a fitness instructor. And there's me. That's a proper scary face. That's me with Sir Steve Redgrave. That was I became a fitness instructor. That's what I was doing. And then I went on to do indoor rowing and won the national championships a few times. But yeah, I don't like to think about that because that's in the past now. I was a lightweight and I've kind of got hypothyroidism, which has made me lost my weight category, so I can't compete anymore. But I still row every day. I done 10,000 metres this morning. Doesn't look like it, but yeah. And so yeah, I was kind of doing that, and then that kind of some of that inspired this book here, because the character in this book here, he's a fitness instructor who worked at the gym that I worked at, but he's not me. But I'll come on to that. So yeah, so I worked as a gym instructor. I also worked in all sorts of horrible places. I worked at the recycling place for a while with my hands in the rubbish. I worked in a seafood factory at Cromer for a while. The longest job I did was working nights in the fuel station. So yeah, so I had a bit of trouble with my job, and that's partly so the character in the book goes through some of the things that I had trouble with. Yeah, so up until 2014, basically, I had no time to write. We'll move on to this bit in a minute. So because I ended up having to leave my job and become a carer, and I was Daniel here is one of the people I look after. He lived in Great Yarmouth, and I had to keep running up and down the Acle Straight every single day to go and see him. And then sometimes 3 times a day. And this is where my imagination kicked off again. What about I'll play it anyway. So people know what the Acle Straight looks like, basically. Imagine it's all open countryside out in the dark. You're in the middle of nowhere, and I thought, what would happen if you were stuck out there in the middle of nowhere? And I came up with the idea of the train crashing and people on the train being stuck there. And this isn't working very well, but it's kind of while I was driving backwards and forwards over there every probably sometimes twice a day, I was thinking up ideas for this book, and I remember back to another job I did, which I only did for about a week, where I was a salesperson, and we used to travel on the trains and go out and knock on people's doors and stuff like that. It really wasn't for me. I absolutely hated it. I hated everyone who worked in the company. But I thought, what if there's a group of people on the train who were salespeople who were going out there, and the train crashes and there's all sorts of things that you never know what could be out there on the marshes in the dark. And that's where this series came from, Derailed and Dispersed. There's currently 4 parts to it. I've got them all here. But it's done from different points of view, so there's probably several different characters telling their point of view of what's going on, and they're dispersed out over the marshes trying to get help after the train crashes, and the road has disappeared. The road has magically disappeared, no one can find it. So it's got paranormal elements to it. Obviously you see here in the cover there's a werewolf on the front, there's werewolves out in the marshes, there's witches and vampires and stuff like that all out there. And obviously I have a very overactive imagination. So I didn't hear that.
I don't have nightmares.
Yeah, there's witches and vampires out all out on the marshes.
The train is still running, in fact.
Yeah, the train still runs, but it was just it's a completely made up thing about the train crashing. But the train still goes out there. Still, it's all a bit more modernised now. But this was set back in 1999, where the phone signal was really bad. No one could call for help and stuff like that. And they've all got some different things going on in their lives and stuff, and you kind of switches between characters. And I started writing that, and then halfway through writing this book, I started writing this one. So I'm just losing track completely here. So it was kind of, that's how the writing process works. You have one idea and then you have another idea, and it's like, which one do you want to finish first? And I'd started off writing that one, and then this one, I got the idea from something that happened a long time ago previously to that, when I was working at the gym, which was my first winter when I was driving, and I was driving home in the snow and thought that there was someone out in the road, and it got me thinking as to who would be out in the road at that time of night. What are they doing? What would happen if I picked them up and gave them a lift and then got into a car accident? So this, and then what if you had to spend the night with someone who you didn't know in a really kind of awkward situation, and then it kind of my imagination just kind of goes everywhere, and they start having dreams about a possible future, or is it the past? You never quite know whether it's the future or the past, or if any of it's real. And I worked on this book for 4 years and didn't even know what I was going to do with it. So we're just randomly watching the April Straight while I'm talking.
Did you do a degree around that as well?
Yeah, I was doing the degree at the Open University at the same time around that, and trying to do several different things. But I got inspirations from all sorts of different places. So I took inspiration from when I was working as a fitness instructor, and I also took inspiration from when I was working at the seafood factory. This girl here is based on someone who I knew from the seafood factory, and when I was working with her, she was a horrible person. She was picking on this girl, and she was just relentlessly, and I helped them report her, and then I basically got let go for reporting her because she was in with the manager. So she was always putting her arm around the manager and stuff like that, so I got let go because of reporting her, basically. But I thought, what if I had to spend the night with her? But then I saw her out and about, and she was a completely different person. She was just, people. I thought, what people change. One person might view them one way, and another person might view them another way. Because she was out with her husband and her baby and stuff. That's a completely different person. So I thought that was what I wanted to do, is kind of explore different sides of people. She might think one thing about herself, and other people might see her in a different way and stuff like that. And it all comes out through these dreams. And this is actually kind of turned out being a comedy and a serious book at the same time. So there's some serious things in there, but kind of some comedy moments as well. So, my favourite review of it says that I can't remember what it was now. I've got reviews of it on there, but my favourite review of it said about how it made someone cry through laughing at the same time as crying through being upset. So get the two things together. I can't really describe it really, as in other than I always told people I can't really describe this book. It's about two people sleeping in a haystack. So as I say, it's two people sleeping in a haystack, and you can't really imagine where you could go from there. But it's it sort of jumps backwards and forwards, the past, the future, stuff like that. And I think I just kind of told people to give it a chance. But so, anyone got any questions?
You mentioned the first one, which
Yeah.
is the middle one on the screen I was looking at.
Yeah.
And
So I'm
because
going to go back over this
because
book
it
here.
was your best publication today,
Yeah, I'm going to talk more about this one.
numerically.
Yeah,
You've sold more.
I've sold way more of this one. I've sold out of, I think, 7 times all of the rest put together. So
7 times the rest put together.
yeah,
And that wasn't the first one.
that wasn't the first one. No,
third one.
this one was the first one. That's the second one. This was my third one. So yeah, I'll just stop it here. So
You mentioned you wrote a series. What was
Yeah,
the connecting
so-
element of that series?
so the series, these are the ones set out on the marshes. So I've got part 1 and part 3 here. I've got part 2 probably hidden away in the box somewhere. Yeah, I've got I've got more of part 3 there. Okay. Yeah, and here's part 2. There, I've written part 4 as well, and part 5 is on the way, because these were meant to be a serial to start with, but they are sort of, they're kind of connected in the way that the universe is connected. Some people who appear in that book appear in this one, but
by
they're
the,
not,
by the same name.
by the same name. Yeah, they appear in. There's some of the they swap, but they're unrelated stories.
It's like
So,
character
um,
progression.
Yeah, so I have a character in this one called Katie, and she appears in this one years earlier when she's much younger. But and then she also appears in one of these books, in this one, which I haven't got onto yet. But some of the characters all kind of have some kind of loosely bonded to each other. They're all set in the same world.
While you had these dreams and writing about them,
Yeah.
if I may call them dreams,
Yeah.
what's your home life personally?
My home life is I'm a carer. I look after Natalie and Daniel here.
Right.
Yeah, and then
Have you got a partner yourself? And
yeah, Natalie is my
children?
partner. She's my
And
partner.
his partner.
Right.
Yeah.
And children?
I don't have any children, unfortunately. Have stepchildren, but that's a very complicated situation.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you, or how much time do you?
At the moment, I try and make some time in the evening to write. That hasn't happened recently because I've been doing Open University. I've just finished that, so I'm sort of going on from next week. I'll be kind of saying 2 hours aside in the evening to try, at least that, to try and get back on track with the writing. I'm working on a book called The Lady in Green at the moment, which is another sort of ghost story, but it's a ghost story, but maybe it's not. If you get what I mean, it's kind of like a Scooby-Doo type ghost story set in the 1800s. You know, is the ghost real? Is she not? Kind of thing. But maybe she might turn out to be 2 different things. So you know, that's based.
Open
so-
university course, has that
Yeah.
got relevance to your?
Yeah. I did creative writing.
Do the writing.
Yeah, I've done that over sort of 6 years.
Which
But
course was it?
that was English literature and creative writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing that online, and it was a bit of a nightmare because it had various things going on at the same time as that, which were getting in the way. So I got a pass on it. But I was also trying to go out and sell books at the same time and do my day job, and a lot of things. So it's kind of trying to cram everything together. And at the moment, I'm going to get a few spare weeks now to do some writing. I was hoping to have The Lady in Green out by now, but it's just taken so long and just.
Well, you've
Yeah.
got it's a
Yeah.
fair achievement there because
Yeah.
some people will have a life's work of one book
Yeah.
and never quite finish it.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
this one was-
yeah. My father-in-law was always saying he's going to write a book, and he's No, he never will. But, you know, yeah, that's a lot more
Have
complicated.
you ever walked across those marshes?
I haven't walked across, but I've been out in the middle of them. Haven't had the chance to walk across there, but I've been out to Helvergate and stuff like that.
I've walked across them.
You walked across them.
It's eerie.
Yeah, it's very eerie.
You're taking me back to my...
Yeah, you're taking me back to it. Yeah, it's just that it's like you could be in the middle of nowhere. And I remember going across there
Except for
when
the
I was a
cows.
kid.
You got company of the cows, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like it and don't like it at the same time. So I like it because it's in the middle of nowhere and you know and we're away from stuff. But one thing was that happened there was like a car broke down in the middle of the April Street in the dark. But yeah, the fan belt came off, and I managed to get it back on again and get it going. But yeah.
Yeah, we don't like the April Straight.
No.
The cows.
Yeah, cows. Yeah. And
Get your picture back.
yeah, see that. Just that.
I think it just goes to sleep.
Yeah,
The April Straight is a bit similar,
yeah. People.
much shorter than, you imagine the long straight
Yeah.
roads in America or something.
Yeah, people die on the April Straight though, don't they? That's part of the theme.
Oh, you bring that
I
into
will bring that into it. Yeah. There's another whole bit on that.
motorcyclists particularly.
Yep, and you've hit the nail on the head with this book.
I didn't know. That was accidental, that was.
No, Rolling Into the Sunset is about two people on a motorbike on the April Straight. And would you imagine you could get that much of a book of two people riding a motorbike down the April Straight? So that is connected to this book because there's two people in this book who were involved in it, but I was asked by the Open University to write a short story about a crash. And I thought I used the two characters from this book as an example. And then a few people read it and said, you've got to make a whole novel out of that. So, yeah, here it is. So, yeah.
So what have you been writing during the 6 years that you're doing the course?
So I have been doing some writing while I was doing that. This was one of the ones I did during that.
Yeah.
And then I started on part 5 of this one. And I've got a lot of it done, but the lady who I hired to edit it, she sort of said to me, she felt it was going over too much what was going on in the previous book. So I'm going over it again, basically it's going to be out sort of after Christmas. But
So the editor for that book read your previous books.
no, what it is, she's basically a proofreader who has some kind, but I just pay her about £50 per book to go over it, and I'm going to be paying someone else next time because she missed a lot of things, but I've got a lot of people who are wanting to go over them. So I'm not going to say they're perfect, but I always, each time I get them printed out, I go over them and see if I can spot any mistakes and stuff like that. But she'd read all of these to start with, so she said it was the 5th part was kind of going over things that have been gone over in the previous books. So, but I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
Some advantage though to have the continuity of it, because every book is its own book, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I think. It was kind of, I was trying to go over, recap what happened previously and then build up to the finale, which was been building up to for 4 or 5 books.
Especially a few characters.
Yeah.
As well.
And so these ones, so they're kind of being written in the, so the group of people have sort of come back 20 years later to write their story, so they didn't write it straight as it happened. And then it kind of started in about 2016, and then but then each time the current day progresses. So when I started writing them, they were writing in 2016, and by the last one, the characters who were they were all locked in their houses in the pandemic, and they kind of got back to writing it, and then yeah, so that's how it's going to be. But it kind of starts with them writing it in 2016 and then coming back, and as I say, so modern day is kind of moving on while they're going back and talking about the past. Yeah.
If Maria's photograph sold 7 times as many books as all the others, can you put your finger on why? And does it then tempt you to carry on writing in the same sort of genre? Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say. Definitely, that's why I'm going back to this genre with my next book, because a lot of people can relate to ghost stories. This one's actually set in Heavingham, and what I probably should have mentioned is I've completely skipped over it, haven't I? So I'll go back to this one. So when I was at Heavingham School, I spent a lot of time there just hanging around in the classrooms after school because my mum worked there and I was only a little kid and I couldn't go home straight away while they were having the staff meetings, and I was and I'd be left to just sort of do whatever I wanted while they were in the staff room. So and I'd heard about this photograph I heard about it from some of the older kids at school. It wasn't there when I was there because the headmaster got rid of it. But I've spoken to a lot of people who did know who were there, and so my sister went to a sort of party once, and one of the kids who was there retold the story of the photograph, and then she told it to me, and then I asked him about it, and so he told me about it. And said that supposedly she was a photograph of a girl that was at the school, and she was on the teacher's desk, and he would tell all sorts of stories about her and what she'd been up to, about how the desk had been knocked over and stuff like that, and things would be moved around the classroom, and they said you could that she looked like she was watching people all the time. And that's why it says there that she's always watching you, is the subtitle. But so I've always felt that there was this presence at the school, regardless of whether the photograph was there or not. It was kind of really odd presence there, and I thought about when someone told me I should write a ghost story, I sort of thought back to what I'd been told about the photograph. And I was always told she was a girl who wanted to be at the school but couldn't be there for various reasons. We never knew why. Maybe she died before she was old enough. And so I thought, I want to write a story about the photograph, but set it back in the 1940s, so that it makes it more. How do you put it? So it's creepy and it's set back in the times, more atmospheric. And specifically the winter of 1947, because the winter of 1947 was like the most horrendous winter ever. And my grandparents always said that was the worst winter ever, and like loads of cattle died, even people died. And so I thought I'd set it in. Have a teacher coming from the school. She's coming to the school from somewhere else and having her own encounter with the photograph, and kind of then causes her to have dreams and stuff like that. So she's basically she's coming to having him start a new life, and the photograph was left over by the previous teacher. It was left in her house, and she doesn't know who it is, only that it seems really creepy and things move around it, like the matches spelling out the word hell and stuff like that. And then she goes into sort of having dreams about it, and she finds out more about it, and then there's a child at the school who seems to be talking to someone who's not there, and are the two things linked? So I think originally the reason why it sold so many was because I put it up on the Heavingham Facebook page, and everyone went, oh, it's Heavingham, and then they went, oh, I remember that photograph, it was all a real thing, and they were saying that they remembered the headmaster scaring them with it and everything like that. And yeah, so, but I spoke again to one of the people who was there at the time, and she confirmed everything. That she said that she tried touching it once, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Are you influenced by people like Wilkie Collins and Edgar Allan Poe or not?
I wouldn't say so, but I probably I don't know. I haven't read any of their stuff, so I might be my stuff might be like their stuff. I haven't had the chance to read it yet.
I noticed your title of that book, A Midwinter's Night's Dream.
Midwinter Night's Dream.
I mean, if you tried to call it A Midsummer Night's Dream, would you be slapped with a...
The reasoning, there is a reason for it being called A Midwinter Night's Dream. It's basically, it was originally, the original working title was called The Broccoli, the Stilton and the Haystack. But that's a kind of really weird thing. But then I realised it actually takes place on Midwinter's night. So, and they're having these dreams on the winter solstice. So I thought A Midwinter Night's Dream is actually just generally saying what it is on the tin, because it's because that's what it is. They're dreaming on Midwinter's night. And a lot of people say, well, you copied Shakespeare, and I'm like, there's not much Shakespeare in it. But
Different time of year.
yeah, yeah. Although Shakespeare did do didn't he do A Winter's Tale or something like that? Yeah, yeah. So
can you tell us how you actually do the writing?
Yeah.
And then the publishing. So presumably you have your ideas, you formulate them in your head whilst you're driving up the Acre Straight.
Yeah.
You then make your notes.
Yeah.
Then you start writing in a Word document.
Yeah. I started writing the Word document, and then I'll put it all into a Word document, and then I use a program which is called Atticus. So that does the formatting and stuff, but you have to split it up into chapters and then add all of this, the headings and stuff like that. I split it up all in separate headings. But my editor goes over the Word document first, so I do all the formatting.
So we send it for publication. I mean, in days gone by, people used to say self-publishing is vanity publishing, because you know, if it's worth doing it, then the publishers will take it, and I think that's no longer true at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
Also take a lot of money for someone else's work.
And so, some of the I've spoken to people who are like agents and stuff like that, because I haven't gone through one, but I know a few through like social media and stuff like that. And it's sometimes they said even if a book is good, they still won't take it on. So it's like this lady, she was saying she would only take on certain types of romance and stuff like that. And she said if anyone mentions the name Harry Potter, the book is out straight away. She said
wasn't the first Harry Potter thrown away?
Yeah, that was thrown away several times.
Yeah.
But she said if you even mention any connection to Harry Potter, you're not getting published straight away.
So when you have it published, do you have a set number of runs done, or do you?
So what I did to start with, I went these ones here published through Amazon, so I can just buy as many of these as I like. I could they're done print on demand, so I can say order 10 of them at a time, and they will charge me £2.30 a copy, and then they'll add postage on top of it.
So is that where, because I've heard Amazon you can order through Amazon, and then they can print one book.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants one
if someone
book,
wants one book, that's what they'll do. Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
print it, publish it, bind it.
Yeah.
Post
They'll
it.
do that, but it's more expensive to do it that way.
Right.
So for example, if I had one of these published on Amazon, that would be £2.30 to print it. But what I did with these ones, I had 250 of them printed all in one go, and it saved me about nearly £100. I thought, you know, I had the 250 printed, and I thought they're going to be sitting in my house forever. And then those first 250 were gone within a few months. So the problem was that was when we found that my editor had a bad day. So I got another 250 printed, and they're all gone now. And
So you could revise them with the second lot you can correct.
Yeah, I can correct them and send them off to the printers again. So I totally revised these. I had the canvas put on the back and stuff like that. And so far I've sold 2 copies of that with this print one, but they only came last week. So currently, I think if I've counted right, I've sold 435, and that's just from going to craft fairs and stuff like that and over the past 18 months. So we've got Christmas coming up, so I am booked into a whole load of craft fairs over Christmas. I'm doing 7 nights at the Dinosaur Park. I'm doing Constantin Carnival. I'm doing a Christmas light switch on. I can't remember the name of the place. So basically, I'm here, there, and everywhere. I did an event in Wyndham. Now Tony knows me from the event in Wyndham.
Yeah.
So shall we tell what happened at Wyndham?
Yeah, go on then.
So
My wife, she wants me to tell the embarrassing story, which I will do, but I will start the story by saying that I'm not an author. I call myself a playwright. I do. Plays have been performed. So a lot of the principles about writing novels, including the length of a play, I write short plays. I like to see a light at the end of the tunnel, otherwise it's a black hole, you know. But so anyway, in Wyndham we actually had a Meet the Authors event. And I didn't meet you actually until after we'd got way down the road from it, and you would have been part of it. We subsequently met where you live in North Walsham when we talked about our idea. And who's to say that Swaffham? But the principle of it though was that my own view is that you can't do these things on your own. And it is much better if you connect with other people. And you get the benefit of their knowledge and their enthusiasm, and you don't necessarily make those same mistakes or anything else. So the other weird thing, I met you on one occasion, and then there was another event when you came, and I bashed into your car. Although I didn't know it was you. I was doing my detective thing, Morse, that sort of thing. I went round to all the cars that had a full day ticket on, thinking these are the exhibitors. Then I had to embarrassingly go round to everybody and say, have you got, I didn't know the make, a blue car, we'll call it. And eventually we got it was me. And then that was the weird thing. And then we ended up chatting after he bumped into my car. And we met and so on. So it was a sort of meant to be in a kind of way. But, almost paranormal.
And then he came up to North Walsham to see me. So has anyone got any more questions?
I was going to say, so like all the gigs that you've got, are they Christmas ones or Halloween ones?
Some of them are Halloween ones.
This is like really good that you're coming up to Halloween. And
I've got 2 Halloween ones. I'm doing a Halloween one at North Walsham on Sunday, and then another one somewhere out in Yarmouth, I think. Then
I'm covering one for
she's doing her first one for me because it's literally next door to our house. But
I'm covering that from because
Do you pay for any ad?
Sorry,
do you pay for any ad? Do you put it
I've tried paying for advertising.
on social media?
I even tried putting a paid ad for people to come here tonight. So yeah, it didn't really work, but because Facebook just kept showing it to me. So they're like, you live in this area and might be interested in this event, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah, there's like yeah, there's lots of things that go on social media as an author. The world of social media as an author can be toxic. Like there was one woman who I used to be friends with on Facebook. We're not going to talk about the one you think we're going to talk about.
Okay. Yeah.
We're leaving her name out of it.
Yeah.
But she was telling people that she was being bullied, and then and she's in America. She was telling all these people she's been bullied by these other authors, and that she's feeling suicidal. And then one day I get a message to say she's died, and that someone had put on her Facebook page that she's died. And for about a year and a half, someone claiming to be her daughter got a load of people together and got a funeral fund together for her. They said they couldn't afford to they couldn't afford to pay for a funeral, basically, so loads of people donated to it because they felt bad because she'd been bullied. And then 18 months later, she comes back and she goes, "Just joking, I'm still alive."
Oh, great.
Right, yeah. And all these people had put money into their into her funeral fund, and they're like, "What about all the people who put money into a funeral fund?" She goes, "I don't care." It's like, yeah.
That's why she got bullied.
Yeah, that is exactly why she got bullied. If you Google, you can Google her. Her name's Susan Meacham. Yeah. So we've only got 10 minutes left, and I haven't done the haven't done the trailer for my other book. So we were talking about motorcycles on the Acle Strait. Start again. Everyone's going to see what my passcode is.
We'll turn away.
So I've got a trailer which I did for my other book, which is kind of the one that came from the short story. And this is a silly trailer with really bad animation in it. But
Thanks for the warning.
yeah. But it's not going to start. So it's going, no, this video is rubbish, so this I can probably do it by, this is where I made the video from, so I can probably do it by doing this last little bit at the end here. Do that. Do that. No. Do
Can
that.
I ask you a question
Yeah.
of our librarian while you're working
Okay.
on that?
Here.
Do you report as librarians the number of times that authors' books are taken out of the library? Do they get a sort of a feedback?
I'm sure
That's not
they
me.
can do, and for the royalties that are paid by the libraries, that is totted up.
Right, so
Because
there
I
are
think
facts and
every-
figures that Sam could get, which would give him encouragement if they're improving.
Yeah.
You can, yeah, I mean that would be.
Do you have a deposited copy in the library?
They don't have one of these. No, they.
No.
Yeah, I can leave one if you want.
That was something I learned
Yeah.
from the Meet the Authors.
Yeah.
All the authors had a display of books, but they
Yeah.
haven't got the books in the library.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
if they had got the books in the library, they might get nicked out. So
Yeah.
therefore they all provided the book,
Yeah.
and then they went into the library
Yeah.
system.
At
Yeah.
my doctor's surgery, they do like second-hand.
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, I left a few free ones on there, and you met David Biner as well, didn't you? Yeah, some of his were in there as well. So we're going to moving on to Roaring into the Sunset, because this is the one that was based on the where I actually got the idea from is when I first started going over to Yarmouth, one of the care workers who was working with Daniel, I met him and then he just disappeared, never met him again. And it turned out that he'd been killed in a motorcycle crash on the Acle Strait. So that's where I kind of got the idea of someone being on a motorbike on the Acle Strait from. And this is the book, I called it Roaring into the Sunset, and someone actually said to me when they picked up an event, they went, "Oh, I don't do werewolves." And I was like, what's that got to do with anything? And she was like, "Well, they're roaring into the sunset." And I was like, "Well, werewolves howl into the sunset. They don't roar into the sunset." And roaring into the sunset, but it's roaring is the sound of the motorcycle engine and they're going towards the sunset. But I decided to, I made a trailer for it. What I was going to do was going to get a proper trailer done for it, and I was going to do some promotion because of the whole thing of motorcycles, Bat Out of Hell and stuff like that, because I was a huge Meatloaf fan, and I was going to actually save up and get the real Meatloaf to advertise it, and he would have done it for £2,500. So I was going to save up the money and get him to advertise it, and then he was really inconsiderate. He died, so I couldn't exactly do that. So that never happened. But because it's mainly because the character in the book is a big fan of him as well. But this is a little bit about what it's kind of what it's about, but it's just, and I made up the music for this as well, so it's bad. And the graphics are bad as well, but
You're not doing yourself any favour.
This is as loud as it'll go. This is so embarrassing.
Turn back the time.
That's you there.
Cause the book of my life is written in stone. I never regret it. All the things that I've done. I wonder how that time
And the graphics are really bad.
Days go by, years go by, life goes by, you got no time to rest.
Yeah.
Very effective.
And I did the sunset in the background, because if you notice, it's the same video I was playing earlier. Just
Back the time.
So the idea of it comes from the concept of, so that's basically the end of it. But the concept is your life flashing in front of you before you have like an accident or before you die, and everyone says they're like when someone is a near miss, they go, "Oh, my life just flashed in front of me," and it's kind of starts with an old man who's dying, and he's telling her that the character's a nurse. He's telling her about all of him seeing his life flashing in front of him, and then she kind of goes, "Oh," she goes, don't worry, you'll outlive me yet," and then starts to have her own experience of that very next day. Starts to have while they're riding the motorcycle, she starts to have her own experience of their lives flashing in front of them, and it's all set in Norwich in the Mile Cross area. And each time they go into these flashbacks, and time moves forward, and it all kind of, it's building up to the moment when they could crash into the two cars. And it's a kind of will they live or not kind of thing. And there's
like a Netflix job, isn't it?
yeah, there's some kind of I I tried to sell this book in an event in Mile Cross, but it's kind of it was the running joke was that I was shouldn't really say this, but I was saying to people I know that some people in Mile Cross can't read. So, and I've got some 2 more events there coming up.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, and they were just and I was just laughing with people and pointing out the bit where it says about how run down and bad and where about how it says something about describes Mile Cross as being Norwich's unwiped bum or something like that. But yeah, but it shows all the good sides of it as well. It kind of shows all.
Warm welcome from.
But it shows that it says that to start with, and then shows all the families coming together against trying to better themselves and make a better life for themselves. So it shows all the good parts of it as well. And and then as I say, it kind of goes from being children to adults, as you see in the trailer. But some roller coaster ride. This one's my personal favourite, if I'm honest. But it's not had nearly as many sales as Marie's photograph.
I was just going to say that the motorcycle community is a very strong community.
Yeah, they are.
Some while ago, I went up to see the air ambulance. There was an open day at the air ambulance, and I met 1 or 2 biking people, and actually the air ambulance was a connecting, because the bikers are in groups, go out and do their like little clubs and circuits and stuff. But the commonality with the air ambulance, because so many people rely on it, and so on. So I was going to say, if you ever have fundraising, basically invite them to come or let them know, and then I'm pretty sure if you set that in some sort of motorcycling community, then that will be very effective.
Yeah. So we're running over a bit. Has anyone got any more questions?
What are you writing at the moment, apart from your 5?
Writing one about the lady in green.
Oh, yeah.
So she's based on a ghost story that I was told when I was in Scouts about a lady who was in a green dress who was murdered at Woodbastwick Hall, or around the area of Woodbastwick Hall, and she was also seen back in the 1960s by a group of Scouts who broke into the hall, because the hall was derelict at the time. They built a new one, and they broke into the hall and they saw a figure in green stood at the top of the stairs. So I thought I would write something based on that, but it's kind of a thing where all of the locals are being scared away by this woman in green who's some people believe in her, some people don't believe in her, and the new nanny who comes to the house is going to go out to try and disprove whether she's real or not, and you'll find that something else completely is going on, but maybe she's real as well as the things that are going on.
I saw a trailer for a film that was coming out. I don't know what it was about, other than it was potentially a Shrek type thing, because there was a lady who was green. So I don't
that would be Wicked.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, she is the Wicked Witch of the Wicked. And she also knows her mother. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Not the Wicked Witch of Woodbastwick.
No, we have the joke that we have the joke that if the car breaks down, we can always borrow it from my mother-in-law's broomstick.
Not at night.
No. Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say too much about that situation, but yeah. So it's kind of a mystery involving smugglers as well on the Broads. Goes back over the history of the wherries and stuff like that, because I probably I could talk for such a long time ago because my family are descended from the Wherrys. I always say I'm related to the Royals, but not that royal. The double L spelling, they were like well-known criminals. Yeah.
The Albion?
The Albion, yes, the Albion. I've been on the Albion. I've even I've helmed it once.
Yeah.
Their boat was called the Spray.
We stayed in that house where
Yeah.
it's moored.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stayed on the Albion overnight once years ago when I was helping the scout leader,
Yeah.
and someone pulled out at the last minute and they said, "Help! Can you go on it?" 'Cause it wasn't even with my group.
And the miniature railway in the garden.
I haven't seen that.
We tied the two together there in an awful.
Yeah, I mentioned a story somewhere in that I was told that one of my ancestors, this was like my grandmother's uncle, they said he was killed on board a wherry called the Forget-Me-Not, and it was put down his cause of death was drowning, and I was telling the skipper of the Albion this, and he said he pointed at one of these huge pulley blocks. He goes, "He didn't drown. One of those cut his head off."
Nice.
Yeah. He goes like, he's like, that's what really happened.
That's another story.
Yeah. Yeah, these pulley blocks were like that big, and he said basically one came across and just took his head off. And like, yeah, don't want to think about it. That was my grandmother's uncle. That's yeah.
Helpful, because that particular aspect, when you're presenting in the Broads area, is the thing that...
So one of the characters in the book talks about that happening.
That was printed by Amazon.
That one was printed by Amazon, let's look. He's
the chairman of the British Legion in Swaffham.
Yeah.
He's a surgeon, military surgeon.
That's awesome, yeah. You can tell it's printed by Amazon because of the mat cover on it, because you have, they all kind of come across that sort of thing.
You would know that, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, because all of the copies that I had done previously to this, they were all printed in the mat cover rather than the glossy one. They were all kind of...
And is there an advantage in your view? There is, otherwise you wouldn't have it in there.
Because these are shinier, they stand out a bit better. But I've got some of the old ones that I'd had. I mean, this one's done in the matte version, and the next one will be done in the shiny version.
Yes.
But it's less shiny than the others. So has anyone got any more questions?
Do they come on Kindle?
Yeah, they all come on Kindle. If you take your phone and scan the little scanny bit there, it can take you through to the Kindle. I have some good reviews and some not so good reviews, but they're generally positive reviews. There's I will point out one review of Maria's photograph which pointed out that it had spelling errors in it, but she had a previous copy, and that's my friend, John Fripp, and she came. I met her at one of the writers' meetings, and then she wrote a review, and then right next to her, she came right up to me and gave me a hug. She said, "I'm so sorry about that review," and then it's okay because the book's totally changed now. She's got a really old copy of it, and those errors are gone from it. So. And she hasn't taken the review down though.
But you go through it before every print run anyway.
Yeah, so I go through it before every print run. I use pro writing aid and everything like that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Any more questions? Because we're coming to the end.
It's all coming to the end. Yeah. If anyone wants a copy of these, I can sell them for £5. The others are the prices vary. I can sell copies of Maria's photograph tonight for £5 if that's okay. If anyone wants one, or
leave cover behind there.
£10 if you sign it.
yeah, if anyone sign it. I haven't got a pen on me. That's the only thing. I haven't got a pen because I did have a pen. And
Take me to the library for the pen.
Yeah. I left it in the car.
Thank you so much. I feel so we could sort of like hear more and more because it's fascinating.
Yeah, because
and
I
it's
can.
brilliant to have you here just before Halloween.
Yeah.
And it's very inspiring to sort of, I can tell that you've got loads and loads
Yeah.
of stories in your head because
Yeah.
all the things,
There's so
everything
much
you
that I
mentioned,
could.
like, there's a story.
There's a story behind everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Great presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll sign it for you as well if we can get a pen.
I have a pen.
Okay. I'll sign it for you as well. So it's copy 436.
Thank you.
And we're on the 18th of 10, 2024. Copy.
Mix and change from your.
437.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll give you a pen back. Yeah.
Well, you can have it for a
No.
five.
Yeah.
If you've got any.
Yeah.
Yes, you.
Alright, thank you for the chat. Yeah, so is it not sort of your sort of thing, or is it? Yeah, a lot of people tell me that.
Yeah.
Did you pick up a leaflet?
I pick up a leaflet.
Yeah. I don't know where they've gone. They were. Oh, they're over there. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people do that. They say they can pick up them.
You got ahead of me there.
Yeah.
I was ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, she was, yeah. No, it's only just wanted to change.
You got Marie's photograph.
Got 20 quid.
You got it on Kindle. So that's you that's been reading it. So I can probably show you. It's yeah. I can't tell who's been reading it, but I can. If we're online, I know when it's been read through Kindle. So you'd have read 43 pages. Probably not even that. It says I'm going to turn this off now. Hey, Keisha's online. I've got 1,300 likes on here. I've got a few people who've been watching, but I can't. I'm going to have to turn this off now. I've totally almost forgot that it was on.
When will your Lady in Green be out?
Probably just after Christmas.
Okay.
I'm hoping I can take down email addresses and stuff like that, so I can let you know when it's coming out.
Okay. Do you sell like places like Tesco?
Not at the moment. I'm just I'm looking into that. I've been told that I should look into Waterstones, but